so you know, I hope you do, we love our Studio 5 Nanahood series. You women really are an influential force of goodness in the lives of your grandkids. And we also recognize and appreciate your counterpart. Grandpa, Papa, Pops, let's take a moment to honor that special and crucial role. To help us do that, I'm joined by three wonderful grandpas, Brian, Lloyd, Boyd Matheson, and Richard Romney, all friends and frequent guests of the show. Welcome to what we're calling our Papahood Roundtable, right? Welcome to the Papahood.
Thank you.
I like it, you guys. I'm really excited to have you here. And what I love about each one of you individually is we see your professional side oftentimes here on the show, but behind the scenes, in between commercials, you're telling me what it's like to be a grandpa, and you're telling me about those grandkids, and so it's fun to push that conversation out in the open. To start us off, we have a video that I think sets the scene. This is what Papahood can look like. Brian, that is you and your adorable 7 grandkids. So I have to ask, were any babies harmed in the making of this moving picture?
So yeah, totally. Probably emotionally and physically. But that's the point, isn't it? It doesn't kill you, makes you stronger, and that's our mantra.
Is that the motto?
Yeah.
You guys can relate to that chaos, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does the word chaos fit into Papahood?
It's essential, right? It's middle of it.
Well, not only chaos, but everything is sticky. You know, when you get everyone coming, all of a sudden everything's sticky. There's chaos. It's kind of like a little war going on of things going on. You know, cushions turned upside down, water going on, and so yeah, I'm totally there.
Yeah.
I ask this question often of the women I get to meet and chat with, so I'll ask it of you. What do your grandkids call you, Brian?
I'm a papa, but that's a strategic decision, right?
Okay.
I think that's the easiest word to say. And so it's all a competition, especially between my wife and I, who is Mimi. And it usually takes them an extra year to figure out Mimi versus Papa. But I got them down to like 14 months. They're spitting out Papa as they see me walk into the room.
You're going for first dibs. What do they call you, Boyd?
Grandpa Boyd.
Grandpa Boyd.
Only because they threatened to call me G Boyd, and I vetoed that one very fast.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't know. I see a license plate in your future. What do they call you, Mr. Romney?
Well, you know, after my last answer, probably grumpy. But I think, you know, it's just, for me, it's just grandpa. But I laughed at one of a friend of mine who had them call him Grandpa Sir.
Oh.
There you go.
like it.
I'm not quite worthy.
Was he a formal dude?
Yeah, well, no, it would feel that way, right?
Yeah.
But he was just a lovable, likable guy.
Just wanted some
Grandpa Sir.
comedy/respect in his title. I get it.
Right.
Boyd, you're a grandpa to 8 grandchildren. What has surprised you most about this role?
You know, I think it's just the moments that you don't expect that are always the best. It's the crazy questions, it's the funny comments, it's the brutal honesty that you often get from little kids in terms of how your day's going and what's going on. And so I love just those spontaneous moments. That's really where the magic always happens.
And Richard, you have 7 grandkids, and we know that you're doing a great job at being the fun grandpa. You show that to us on Instagram. Be cool, grandpa, right? Be cool.
That's right. Yeah. You know, I think one of the things that is really kind of really special about being a grandpa is just kind of being there in the moment and witnessing the moment, right?
To be a witness.
I think there is something to that because as a grandpa, you get to witness a little bit of your own kids being a being a parent.
Well, now you're going to make me cry. That wasn't the point.
You know, I don't want to do that.
No,
but I remember our daughter just recently had a baby, and in the delivery room, there was a little incident that happened that caused her to have to leave the room.
Okay.
And my son-in-law was there, and the nurses said, okay, Spencer, we need you to take off your shirt, and we need you to hold this baby. And I walk in, and I see him holding this little brand new baby.
Yeah.
And it was just so sweet to see that. And so I was a witness of that. And I think that is one of the favorite things of doing that. And then plus, they like to see you be silly and have fun and all of that kind of stuff.
You just described like the multi-layers of the role, and I'm thinking of my own grandpa as you're talking, so that's partially the emotion, but it's like you do get to experience and be a catalyst for so many emotions and so many, you know, prisms and perspectives. It's a cool place, I imagine, a cool seat.
I think that's right, and no one, you know, there isn't a book about that, so you have to just kind of be there in the moment.
Brian, do you have a tradition that you like as grandpa that's kind of yours that you own?
We totally do. So my 3 oldest are girls, and the four youngest are boys, and this kind of developed with the boys. I don't know if we're going to continue it with the younger girls, but it's called Bonk the Papa.
Okay.
I think
That sounds dangerous.
and it was for me.
So it's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I went in for a kiss one day to our grandson, who was almost 2 at the time, and he just bonked me, gave me a headbutt on the forehead. And so we play that game.
I think it's called a noggin. Perfect calls it the noggin, right?
And we do it now. They're figuring that out at about 1 year old. They're nodding their head, and we just had a birthday party for our youngest 1-year-old, and he's over there every time he sees me now. He's nodding his head. He wants me to come over and give him a bonk.
That's hilarious. Boyd, do you find that there's things that you flex and excel at in the role, and then things you leave to Debbie? Like, is there a natural divide there that strengths come out kind of naturally?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Debbie does all the important things. She gathers, and whether she gathers us literally or whether it's on FaceTime to do a story or to have a conversation with the kids,
Yeah.
she pulls that. You may not know, I am the last magic bender on the planet. And so my superpower is taking the kids on walks, whether it's around the neighborhood or in a forest, and we take on evil armies and empires, and I am the magic bender. And I produce magic, usually in the form of a wintergreen lifesaver. Amazing how much magic there is in
Just
there for the
produces.
grandkids.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Do you each have we'll kind of do roundtable. Do you have a word or a mantra or something that you think defines this role or defines your goal or purpose in this role? Richard, does anything come to mind?
Well, that's a great question.
Witness,
I
think,
really
tops
don't
the
know.
list.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think, with this be cool grandpa thing, I think there's something to that I kind of dove into. First of all, it kind of has 2 meanings to it. It's kind of like the be cool grandpa,
Yeah.
and then there's a be cool grandpa. And the first part of it was kind of like what we witnessed with Brian on the video. He was cool, seeing all those kids, and he was calm, he was cool. All this chaos was going around, and he was a be cool grandpa.
Yeah.
And then there's a part of it of being the be cool grandpa, of being the person who can take the kids and let them have dessert before dinner.
Yeah.
Let them just enjoy the moment and
Yeah.
just being silly, being down on the ground with them and doing that.
I love that. Boyd, a mantra or an approach to this role?
It's curiosity and questions. Little 3-year-old granddaughter, she'll always come up and she'll kind of give that look, and I'll go, question? And she says, I have a question. I say, what's your question? And then she says something random about a Disney princess or pizza or ice cream or something. And her 6-year-old brother, one time they were together, and this little girl says to her mom, Grandpa loves questions. And she said, well, why does Grandpa love questions? And her little brother jumps in and says, because he knows the answer to everything. It's like a superpower. And of course, I had to tell him I really don't have that, but I do love questions. And so we have those kind of interactions that makes it fun.
I love that aspect of your professional life leaks into your personal one in a really sweet. I mean, Disney princesses are not being discussed on Inside Sources, but.
Well, occasionally.
Brian, what about you? A mantra or a word that defines the role?
I tell you what, so growing up, my 2 grandparents, my grandfathers, were just amazing to me. They lived kind of far away, and so we didn't see them very often, but I just can remember those special moments with my one grandpa. Every time we had those old-fashioned oatmeal cookies, he always had those, had them every time we went to his house. With my other, he used to sing me lullabies at night of cowboy campfire songs. And he was a cowboy growing up in Brigham City. Even though we lived in California, he brought that cowboy into me that I needed so much. And so for me, I just want to be a true friend to all my grandkids. I feel like our youth are struggling so much nowadays. I can't even imagine how much worse it's going to be and harder it's going to be on that next generation. So with all my grandkids so young, I just want to be there for them. I want to be there and listen without judgment, like a true friend. And I want them to be able to come to me with anything and everything.
It's that you've got a friend in me, Toy Story approach that really does
That's
apply.
exactly what I was thinking
in
of.
a meaningful way, though, in a super deep and meaningful way. You guys, thank you. This is just part 1. We're going to come back. We're not done yet because we asked you, our viewers, what does Grandpa do best? And I want to see if Brian, Boyd, and Richard agree with your answers. So when we come back, we'll continue this Papahood chat. I love it, you guys. I love it. That was so fun. Hey, welcome back to Studio 5. I am with Brian, Lloyd, Boyd Matheson, and Richard Romney, who all have something in common. They are grandpas, and I will say this and own this with affirmative. They are great ones as well. So, in advance of this Papahood Roundtable, which has been, I mean, I knew it would be cool and fun, but I've really enjoyed this even more than I thought I would, which is saying something. We asked our viewers through social media, what does Grandpa do best? And I want to see if you guys agree. So we'll just spit through some of these. Grandpas know how to fix stuff. They know how to fix stuff. Are you all handymen? Is that kind of a rite of passage?
No. But I know who to call.
You know a grandpa
Yep, I know a
to
grandpa.
ring. What about you? Yeah, Fixie?
I do. I love tools. So, there's nothing like a trip to Home Depot to make me happy.
Listen, it takes some of both. I'm going to throw my own dad under the bus. He signed the change a tire form in driver's ed, and
Oh, yeah.
not one of us changed a tire. The form was just signed. Are you handy?
Yeah, I totally am.
Yeah.
If I can put a plug in, kids, can you get me some tools?
Okay, tools for Father's Day.
And we got a toolkit for our wedding, and I vowed never to add to it, and I have kept my promise.
You have kept that
That's
vow.
right. I love it.
Grandpas take lots of naps.
Not a-
A
wish.
good nap?
I don't
Who's
see
to
that.
Where
argue
do you go
about a
for
good
that?
nap?
Where do you go for that?
Yeah, I don't see that around this table. Grandpas are best at telling dad and grandpa's jokes.
Totally.
Yeah, good. You always got a good
But you
dad
got the
joke
internet, so.
in your
Yeah.
pocket. Grandpas know how to smoke meat for Sunday dinner.
Absolutely.
Yes?
I know a guy. I'm going to lose my grandpa card. I'm worried.
And lastly, what grandpas do best is love and encourage. I'm going to put all of you on the spot. What do you do best in the role? Really quickly, rapid fire. What do you do best?
I just think roll with it.
Roll with
I
it.
just kind of be in the moment and roll with it.
Yeah, Boyd, what do you do best?
Create moments. Just create space for those magical moments to happen.
Awesome, Brian.
I like to be silly.
Be silly.
Have fun.
You guys, I admire each of you professionally and personally, and I really admire you in this role. So thanks for sharing, letting us celebrate
Thank
this
you,
side
Brooke.
of Father's Day this year. Happy Father's Day to each of you.
Thank you, Greg.
Boyd wants tools. Was that right?
No. I want meat, but I want him to cook it.
All right.